Okay, good morning, everybody, and welcome to Wake Up Well. I am live from my new location at Co-Space in Delray Beach. If you are looking for a space, if you're a wellness professional and you're looking for somewhere to bring clients, have meetings, do workshops, seminars, Co-Space is the space to be. So this is my new beautiful, I'll probably change it around. I had to set decorate it in about 5 minutes. So it'll get better, but hey, it looks pretty good for just a few minutes. Okay, so this morning we are talking about our Well World Bootcamp. So this is a boot camp for anybody who is a host, a content creator, a video influencer, a brand. It can be an individual. If you are someone who wants to up your game in the video world, this is the boot camp for you. We are throwing it up for Well World TV starting June 23rd. All the details will be right here, bootcamp.wellworld.tv. So check out the details. But if you want to learn a little bit about it this morning, then let me bring in all of my guests and I will introduce them. Let me do my beautiful technical directing and press the button and magic. Woohoo!
Hey, what's up?
Good morning, everybody. Okay, so let's.
Good morning,
everybody. Thank you guys for being my guest and rolling with me in my my new space. It's all new for me, so it's might be some little bumps along the way, but we'll figure it out. Okay, so first we've got our male influencer right here, Thomas Jordan. He is a podcast host, a media consultant, and one of my fellow red carpet reporters out there in the world of celebrity. Then we've got Marnie. Marnie, give us a wave. Marnie Blake is a business and profitability coach. So I want to be profitable, don't you? She's going to be one of our teachers. And then we've got Monique Blake, who is a wellness educator, and she's actually going to be taking our boot camp. So we thought it'd be really cool to not only have two of our experts talk about what they're going to be talking about, but to have someone who really wants to engage and up their video game. And so Monique is going to ask us some questions about what we're going to be presenting. And if you're somebody who is interested in taking the boot camp, I think it'll be really cool for you to not only learn from our experts what you're going to learn about, but to find out what our students are interested in knowing. And then we'll learn from you because we want to know what you guys want, Monique, because this is all about you and helping businesses, brand influencers up their video game. Okay, so let's start with, I'm going to hide that. Okay, so Thomas, let's start with you. So in our boot camp, one of the things we're going to be talking about is interviewing. So things like this, there's lots of stuff to learn when you're interviewing. Not only because you're not just showing up and sitting down and doing an interview like we would do in Hollywood. You got to be everything. You've got to set up your TV, your remotes, your lighting, your everything, the whole kit and caboodle. So it can be a little bit of a challenge. And so you're going to be talking a little bit about that, but also about interviewing, how to up your interviewing skills, correct?
Yep.
So tell us a little bit about what we are going to learn from you.
As far as video goes, we call it the one-man band. And what that basically means is you're literally the shooter, the writer, the editor. I never had to carry lights around, but I'll never forget, when I was in news and everything, carrying, my camera bag with all the batteries, tripod, and you've literally got to set up, break down as fast as possible, and that takes practice too, because you got to get to know your camera, you have to get to know your equipment, and I can't stress that enough. Whether you're using your webcam or your iPhone, you really need to do a deep dive into your equipment and use it to the best of the abilities, because there's going to be a time where you're going to need to set up fast. And when I was in news, whether it be breaking news with fires or accidents where you get there before people, I knew my equipment like the back of my hand, so I was quickly to set up. But even in the celebrity world, I didn't do much one-man banding, but that definitely transferred over to the time where our camera guy couldn't get somewhere and I had all the equipment, and you just pop everything up ready to go. And like I said, knowing your equipment is super important. And as far as interviews go, I always tell people, depending on what you're doing, not to over research what you're doing, because if you do that, you're going to be in your head of like, oh my God, what's the next question I'm going to ask? Or like the whole time you're asking the person the question, you're going to be like, oh, should I bring this up? Should I bring this up? So it's almost, I would say, depending on how long the interview is, only do about 15 to 30 minutes of actual research, and then kind of just keep bullet points in your head of kind of where you want the interview to go. But I always say to create evergreen questions depending on who you're interviewing, because a lot of the times you will be interviewing somebody, they've been interviewed before and they've probably been asked the same 5 to 10 questions, which is fine, but just either try to reword maybe a question or just try to think of just something unique, like do a little bit deeper, do a little bit more of a deep dive as far as research goes.
Yeah, and you know what? I would say, I always tell people have a conversation, because it's not nobody wants to be attacked with questions, whether you're having a friendly conversation or a business conversation. You just want it to be a conversation. It wants to feel natural. I used to go out on red carpets and I would see people, and I won't name the show. But needless to say, it was a very famous show about entertainment. Yeah. And some of the producers would be out there with their little pads. Yep. They'd be reading the questions word for word, and the celebrities are staring at them like, are you really like asking me questions off a notepad? So you just want to have a conversation. You want to just get to, like, I always acted like I was best friends with Tom Cruise and Nicole Kidman and The Rock. Like, we're buddies, rather than, oh, well, here I am interviewing this person. Yep. Okay, then let's move on to Marnie. So Marnie, you're a business and profitability coach. So you are all about the money. So first thing, let me point out, I'm going to put Marnie up by herself. Okay, let me just point out. So one of the things we're going to be talking about in our boot camp is making sure that your lighting is perfect, that you look good, that you look professional. And Marnie has got it down. Like, this is the perfect. So if you're in our boot camp, we're going to be teaching you how to make sure that you have that look. So she's absolutely perfect. She looks gorgeous. Makeup is gorgeous. She's got a great background. Her lighting is perfect. And also, if you notice, she has her branding behind her. So right there where it says full pocket, she's got her branding. So she really is a perfect example of someone who is doing it the right way at home. Now, normally I would be like that, but let's just be honest. I'm in the middle of moving. All of my stuff is in storage. So I'm like, I have the light coming in behind me. Like, I am doing everything wrong this morning, but maybe that's good, so I can talk about some of the things and how to do it right. So Marnie also, just so you know, let's go back to her solo. She has the light in front of her, not behind her. So she's perfectly lit. So when you have the light behind you, then it's streaming in and it's throwing the lighting off. So you don't want that. And that's one of the things we'll be talking about in the boot camp, is getting your lighting perfect. So me, bad, wrong. I was in a hurry. Marnie looking really good.
Yeah, Marnie's showing off over there. Jeez.
But I'm calling you out for a reason, for a very good reason. Okay, so I don't think we have Marnie's mic. Hang on a second. Okay, Marnie, talk. Do we have your mic?
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh, we lost Marnie's mic. Marnie, we lost your mic. Let's see. I don't know. We're going to have to figure that one out.
She's muted.
Yeah, she's muted. Is your mic muted? You might have to. See, now we're dealing with technical difficulties, so we want to unmute your mic. All right, I'm going to remove her from the stream. Watch this. This is like magic. Watch this. This is our technical. This is also, if you have technical difficulties, this happened to me last week. How do you deal with them? So we're going to remove her from our stream, and then
bring her back.
And then we're going to try to bring her back and see what happens. Marnie, talk.
There we go.
Okay, so there you go. How do you deal with technical difficulties? That is something we're going to be dealing with in our boot camp, and that will help you when you have to be live with stuff like this. Okay, so Marnie, now let's bring you solo, and let's see if we can hear you.
Oh, no.
Oh, no, she's gone again. Ah! I don't know why you're gone again. We're going to try one more time to remove you and bring you back in. Okay, bringing you back.
Okay.
Are you there, Marnie? No, I don't know where.
We have her for like a second.
We had her for a second, and I don't know what happened. So, okay.
You can see that her mic is muted. I'm not sure.
Yeah. Oh, is your mic muted? Can you unmute it, honey? We don't know why. Okay. Why don't you drop out and maybe come back in?
Yeah.
There we go. Okay. All right, let's move on to Monique. So Monique, now that you've seen all the things can go wrong, we're going to try to help you guys who are taking our boot camp figure out how to get things working right. And hopefully Marnie will come back in at some point. Oh, here we go again. Let's see. Marnie's back.
Try it now.
Hey.
Okay. I need to be with all the people. That's the
Okay.
reason it keeps going up. I need to be with everybody.
Yeah.
So,
Okay.
so don't give me a solo.
Okay, I'm not going to go use. We're not going solo. We're going to keep you this way. So
great. So
this
let
is
me start
perfect.
by saying you all look amazing and beautiful.
Thank you.
Regardless of your lighting. And you know, we during this worldwide pandemic where we're all working from home and we're learning the nuance of how to navigate this, we just have to be flexible. We have to be flexible as business owners, and that's what it's all about. Blessedly, I started shifting my business online back last September. So I did the video training. I learned about the audio and the lighting, and I've also been on camera and doing this since I've been very young. So it's one of those things where you learn and you keep kind of shifting until you get it right. So I'm so grateful to be here with you all, and thank you for the lovely compliments. I appreciate it so much. So I'm so excited to be here. So what questions can I answer for everybody?
Okay, so I'm going to start with a question from me, and then Monique, as someone who's going to be taking our course, if you have any questions, feel free to ask us anything as well. Okay, so Marnie, so obviously I think it's not just about putting yourself out there. Obviously, we all want to get out there and share our information and share each of our unique gifts, but we also want to make money, right? That's my Kevin O'Leary Shark Tank. We want to make money. And so you can monetize what you are doing online, what you are doing out in the world. So that is one of the things that you're going to be teaching us, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, so talk a little bit about what you're going to be presenting in our boot camp.
Yes, thank you so much. So I think one of the most important things for everybody to remember is that whether you're dealing with video, you're dealing with TV or radio or social media or any of these things, this is all tactical, okay? And so, and while it's amazing, we have to think about the strategy that goes behind the tactics. Because if you're simply always operating from a tactical perspective without really envisioning the bigger picture and the long-term game, you're never going to be profitable. So what I love doing with my clients and what I'm so excited to do with everybody who will be in this Video Influencer Bootcamp is help you to think through what is the long tail game here and actually putting the very specific numbers to that. So what we'll look at is, where do you want to be in 10 years from now? What is that number? Is that realistic based upon what you've done over the last year? And then how many leads do you need to get from video or from your other marketing tactics that you can then have those great conversations with to be able to convert them into sales? So there's a process and there is a very important strategy that we need to make sure we're really clear on, because otherwise then we're always chasing our tail. So that's what I'm really excited to help people with, to really think through, what is that 10-year financial outlook? How do we bring it back to 3 years? How do we bring it back to 1 year? And then what are those 90-day 3 to 5 very specific goals that we know we're working towards to ring the cash register?
Got it. I like that. Okay, Monique, do you have some questions for myself or Marnie or Thomas on what you want to learn from this, what you want to gain from it?
Absolutely. I'm actually looking forward to it. I'm very excited to be a part of the boot camp. And one of the questions, I was thinking about, what is it that I wanted to get out of here, out of the boot camp? And one of the things that really stood out to me is that, especially now during the pandemic, a lot of people are making the shift to online. Mm-hmm. So one of the things that I really am interested in is the tips and the tools on how to make my business stand out online, because it's becoming a crowded field.
Yeah. Okay. Who wants to take that?
I'll take that one.
Okay, go ahead.
I hear this all the time. And the thing is, I always tell people it's a marathon, not a sprint. Like, I teach a lot of video and YouTube video and tactics and search engine optimization. And no matter what, it's a marathon. Like, depending on what you want to do, I always tell people just to make what you can, and like obviously do your research and things like that, try to build leads, but you're just always going to be learning and always going to be evolving. I've been doing this for, been in the industry 10 years, and my business is always evolving, always niching down. And because what happens, regardless of it's YouTube or you're just making video for like LinkedIn or wherever you're putting your video, or if you even start a podcast, it's a lot of work. People don't realize with YouTube, especially, not only do you have to kind of know your camera, now you got to know editing, now you got to know audio, now you got to know thumbnails, now you got to know tags, titles. Like there's just a million things, and what ends up happening is people get really overwhelmed and then they get stuck. So if you're going to do this full time and be a full time, video person, you need to learn all these things. But not everybody's going to want to do that, because everyone's looking. I feel like a lot of people are looking for that quick fix. Like, oh, I'll just do YouTube. Yeah, well, when it takes you 4 to 5 hours to, film something, and then you're editing, and then that can take a day if you've never done it before. That learning curve is something, and then YouTube's just another beast. And when people do that over and over, they're just like, I only got 2 views and I've been working on this for a week. So it's just consistency, and just really, once again, just marathon, not a sprint, and nothing is oversaturated. You just got to find a different angle. But until you find that angle, just keep doing what you know.
And the cool thing is that we can all learn from one another. So, one of the things you said is there's so many people doing it, but my whole platform is all about, like, you are your own unique, we all have our own unique individual story.
Yep.
And there's nobody like you in this entire world, I promise that, who knows what's in your mind and in your brain. And so we all have our own unique audience. And what I love about Facebook and Facebook Live is that we're all now introducing each other to everybody's audience. So somebody who never knew who I was might be seeing it, who is friends with you or knows you. Somebody who's never met Marnie is now being introduced to Marnie via me, and so it's all about community. And that's what Well World TV is all about. We're building this community of wellness professionals, and we're so excited to bring everybody in who wants to share their voice, because your voice matters. Whether you have affected one person's life or whether you've affected millions of people's lives, it really doesn't matter. So we're just here to encourage everybody who wants to get out there. Not everybody wants to be on video. I have plenty of people who would hide from the camera. I was always that little girl, like the camera would come around, I'd be like, camera? Oh, cool. So I've always wanted to do that. But some people, they're not, the natural. And so I think it's wonderful to do a course like this, to learn all those skills. And then not only that, but then be able to monetize it and work with people like Marnie who can help you make money. Now, I actually want to ask Marnie a question, because as I said, even though I'm going to be one of the teachers in the boot camp, I'm going to learn as well from other people. So since I actually started to do this, and I wanted to let Monique know this, I've been on red carpets for 15, 20 years, known for being a celebrity reporter, but not so well known in the wellness space and in the mind, body, soul space. And I hid from the camera. Like, you put me in a celebrity red carpet, junkets, whatever, I'm there. But when it came to putting my authentic voice out there and what I do as now a intuitive channel and a medium, I was terrified to put myself out there in that way. And since the pandemic hit, I felt like, oh, well, maybe now's the time. I teach meditation. Let me start doing meditation videos. And I've been putting myself out there more in a video way. And oh my God, I get emails every single day, 1 to 5 emails a day from people wanting to either have me on a podcast, want to advertise on my page. Like, it's non-stop. And that's only because I was willing to put myself out there in the video world. So Marnie, is there a good way to go about looking at those offers, how to monetize? And one of the things I want to know, are there scammers out there who are taking advantage of people who are doing content? Can you speak to that a little bit?
Yeah, I'll be happy to. So I think we were just talking about this yesterday, actually, with one of my clients, and it's called shiny object syndrome. And oftentimes as entrepreneurs and small business owners, we can suffer with this. So when you have a strategic plan in place and you know where you're going, right? So you got your lane, then everything that comes through, you can use discernment to figure out if it's in alignment with ultimately what you're trying to create, right? So again, we always go back to the bigger picture. And one of the tools that I like to use with people is called the Vision Tracking Organizer. So we're very organized about our vision. So we set a vision and we kind of, from an intuitive place too, right? Like this is about feeling into it, you know? So it's not just all business and straight up business and that's all we do, right? So it's really also about dropping out of your head and stopping your head from overriding your heart, right? Because so often, I mean, I'm a serial entrepreneur. I've been doing this since I've been 18 years old, but I also have corporate experience working for agencies in New York City for a really long time. And I think that so often I was given the message that my head should override my heart. And so I got myself into so much trouble because that was always my internal guidance system, but I wasn't listening to it.
Yeah.
And whenever you don't listen, you guys know what I'm talking about, right? Monique, right? Thomas, right? Laura? What happens when we override?
Yeah.
So the nice thing is then when we have a strategic vision, when we've laid it out very specifically, then the discernment comes in. And of course, there's going to be scammers. Excuse me one second. Sophia, honey, my 5-year-old is here with me. So like I said, you never know what's going to happen on video.
Yes, exactly. That's okay.
So,
Yep.
okay, honey, one second. So I need to fix a little Lego thing we have.
Oh my gosh.
So just so everybody knows, this is one of the things when you're doing live video that you want to make sure your audience is prepared for, right? And you say to them, hey guys, there may be dogs, there may be kids, who knows what's going to happen? This is real life, and this is what we have going on. So anyway,
and look at what Jimmy Kimmel and Jimmy Fallon and all them are doing with their, national shows. Their kids, they're becoming part of it.
You never know what's going to happen. But so that's the thing is that, of course, you're going to have scammers. You're going to have people who try to take advantage. But I think it's also what you allow in, know, and it's always just kind of checking in with that higher guidance. And does it feel right? Like check in, like, that is your, honey, this is not going to work. We can't put a little cherry in a little thing here. I don't know why, but I know, baby. I know. I'll fix it in just a moment. Honey, I'm live. I'm live. I couldn't do it right now. Give me okay. So anyways, yes, that's what I would say is that you have to discern what feels appropriate and what doesn't feel appropriate as well with people who are coming into your space.
Yeah. Monique, let me ask you, as someone who's sort of starting out in this this new venture of content creation, what do you think is your biggest challenge right now?
Great question, and it kind of piggybacks on what Marnie just said. So one of my challenges, and it might just be something I need to get over, is that I see that there is definitely a template out there when it comes to how to market yourself online. And it is the long sales page that takes forever to get to what it is they're offering, and the $27 and then this and the scaling up. I'm okay with the product, but it's just the approach, the template where it focused so much on the pain points, and it's very much a template because everyone is doing it. I want to know really if it's just something I need to get beyond, because maybe if everybody's doing it, it works, or if there is something that will resonate more with me and how I want to approach people, and to kind of figure that out as I start in this venture of building content.
I love that you said that, because I think that question is a great question. I think that's everybody's challenge, and I think we're going to come from it in the boot camp from everybody's different angles too. So my angle is coming from that mind, body, soul, like getting rid of some of your limiting beliefs. We're going to talk about that in I think week 4 of the boot camp, of just that whole notion of everybody's doing it, so I have to do it too. And my best example of that is Wayne Dyer. If you've heard of Wayne Dyer, Wayne Dyer is an author, and he's written, may he rest in peace. I think he's partying in peace up there.
I would agree with that.
Right, on the other side. And sometimes I feel like he talks to me too.
I was going to say, wouldn't you know?
Yeah, I actually think he does sort of show up in my life as a channel. But I think part of that is because there's always this lesson that I'm meant to teach people. Before social media was Wayne Dyer. And Wayne Dyer was a professor, and he wrote a book called Your Erroneous Zones. And he literally was selling it out of the back of his, hatchback when he wrote it, and didn't think anybody would want it. And then following the advice that he, as he wrote the book, he just sort of let it go, and he let things come to him, and people just kept showing up in his life offering. So then, PBS called and was like, oh, do you want to do a special for PBS? And then he ended up on the Tonight Show, and became a best-selling author without social media, without email, email lists and all of those things. And it really just goes back to trust and belief. So my portion of the marketing is we're going to talk about using the most important tool you have in the entire world, which is your mind. So that'll be my portion. Marnie and Thomas, do you want to talk about how you can come at that from your angles?
Yeah, I'll be happy to. So one of the things that you may have experienced already is as soon as you start searching online for this kind of stuff, suddenly there's 7 million people who come up and they're all an expert and they all know exactly what to do that hasn't worked before, right? Okay. Have you had that experience?
I have.
I have too. So I think what it comes down to is always, it's about building relationship, and it's about building trust and credibility with who you're trying to sell to, okay? And when we talk about being a professional salesperson, which is what every single person here has to do, there's a big difference between being a professional salesperson and being a used car salesperson. And when I say salesperson, what usually happens is most people get this connotation in their mind of, oh, it's the used car salesperson. Professional salespeople understand their product and service extraordinarily well, and then they ask great questions to determine the need and build trust and credibility. It doesn't happen overnight. So the problem that usually happens is that people think they're going to go out, they're going to run some Facebook ads to drive traffic, and suddenly everyone's going to convert and buy their thing. Whether it's $10, an email address, or $4,000, it's still the same thing. If people don't believe you, if they don't trust you, and you haven't built a relationship, you'll never sell anything, right? So it's about understanding the customer journey and how those particular people who are in your lane are going to believe you enough to first give you their email address, because that's transactional. When I give you, that's the beginning of trust. And then you have to really think through, how do I bring people down this line, the funnel we talk about, so that they feel comfortable and I am delivering above and beyond on what I said I'll do. And there's a lot of different ways to do that. But at the end of the day, it's about relationships, and it's about integrity, and it's about people just believing you.
Yeah, absolutely. Authenticity is everything too. Thomas, what about you?
To kind of piggyback off what Marnie was saying, is to get to kind of, do you need to really get to know your customer and know who you're targeting? And that's always changing too. And like she said, you go on YouTube or you go anywhere and everybody's an expert, and you've kind of got to do a little bit where the work comes in and kind of sift through it and, see what works for you. And I'm always, regardless if it's video, list building, Facebook ads, whatever, I'm always that person who goes against the grain. Like I take, everybody, what they say, and I try different things, but you have to figure out what works best for you. I have clients who don't like to do email lists, so they just build Facebook groups. So you don't need to learn MailChimp. You don't need to learn Active Campaign. You don't need to worry about sales pages. I've seen people build their business on like a actual Facebook personal page, not a fan page, but a personal page or a Facebook group, and whatever works for best for your business. You're always, like I said, you always got to be trying new things and try to think outside the box a little bit and see what everybody's not doing. That's what I really pay attention to. As far as like, when you were saying like the sales page, I know with a lot of people, they're super long, right? And that the reason in my opinion, is because that's what's working, right? They want to make sure they're hitting all those points. But even with like my emails and stuff, I still get emails from people I follow and they're super long. I'll be honest, I don't got time for that. So like I literally I make mine as short and to the point as possible. Like, let's go. And I kind of, even in some of my videos or podcast, well, not podcasts, my podcasts are long, but in my emails, I'll just be like, look, I just want to get this to you short and sweet. And then they kind of already mentally know that they don't need to read this huge, long email or sales page. But that's just something I'm trying out right now. Some marketers would be like, no, you got to do it this way. But who knows? Like I said, you just got to kind of find some people that you like, you know, and trust, and do it their way and see what works, and then make it your own.
Flexibility is everything in this game, you know, and I think it's just not putting all your eggs in one basket. And you try it, you test it, you see if it works, and if it doesn't, you keep pivoting. And the other thing is nothing ever is going to work forever. You just have to know that one tactic might not work, but you know, the great thing is when you have your overarching strategy and you know where you're going, then you can try all the different tactics and see and measure what's going to work best for you and your audience.
Yeah, because it's always evolving. Your business is always evolving. I've started, you know, in this whole wellness space about 3.5 years ago, and it's always evolving. And I'm always getting these inspired ideas of something to do. And sometimes, you know, I try it, and sometimes it works, and sometimes it doesn't work. And sometimes it works for 6 months, and then it takes a pause and a breathe, and then something else works, and then I go back. It's like, so it's just being flexible and evolving with everything. So let me just put up our, if you want more info, you can go to bootcamp.wellworld.tv. And all the things we've been talking about in this Wake Up Well episode are what we're going to be talking about in our bootcamp. And the things that, Monique, that you asked are going to be things that we're going to cover. But most importantly, I think if you're someone who's interested in taking the bootcamp, is this is not a webinar where you watch it and watch it at your own pace. This is a live online course. So exactly what we're doing here is the interaction that you're going to be getting as one of our mentees. Is you're going to be with us live. We're going to answer your questions live. You're going to get it from every angle and everybody's different spin and take. It's not just one person. So I think it's a really important way to do something, is to be live with people and ask the questions that you need asked. And you never know what could come up. There was one call that I was on where somebody had an idea for something, and within 2 seconds I was like, well, why don't you wait a minute, you're missing this whole big umbrella of how to run your business. So I think it's a really cool way to be able to interact with people. So we're excited. We hope you check it out. We hope you will come join us. Go to bootcamp.wellworld.tv to find out more info. Yes. And if you're interested in taking it, you can use my code, which is LSALT, which I'll drop in the comments, and you get $100 off. And if you have any questions, feel free to drop them in the comments and we'll answer them for you. And everybody tell everyone where they can find you online. So Marnie, where can people find you online?
Yeah, so my company is called Full Pocket Coaching. And I also have my private Facebook group, which is called Full Pocket Entrepreneurs. And I would love for you to join us. We deliver cutting edge sales, marketing, communications, customer journey, and business strategy information, or fullpocketcoaching.com. Would love to connect with everybody there.
Awesome. We'll see you in the boot camp. Thomas, where can we find you?
I'm all online everywhere at Thomas Jordan TV, on YouTube, just Thomas Jordan. And I have a podcast called That's the Industry Podcast, where I interview creatives and professionals in the entertainment industry so people can apply their expertise. And also, and once again, we were talking about evolving and everything like that. I'm evolving a little bit to helping everybody with online videos. So I'm helping content creators and entrepreneurs turn their passion into profit using online video.
Okay, and Monique, where can we find you?
I'm on Facebook, I'm on Instagram, I'm on LinkedIn at Monique Blake, also at Being in Touch Inc.
Awesome. Okay, well, we're looking forward to getting you going more in the video content space. Looking forward to working with all you in the boot camp. And thank you guys for being my guest this morning.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, everybody. Feel free to drop comments in, questions. We'll answer them. I'll be checking. I'm always checking the comments. So thank you guys for being my guests. Have a great morning, everybody.
Good morning. Have a great day, everybody. Bye.
Bye, guys.